Guys, hello and welcome back to the AirbnBUST podcast. My name is Scott. I go by Scott Flips to Freedom on socials.
My name is Drew Hittner, and I go by Drew Do Loans on all my socials.
And today we're going to be talking about a couple of things. Number one, we're going to go right back into the bad, better, and best Airbnbs. We're going to be looking at bad Airbnbs. One of them might be yours. Hopefully it's not. We're going to look at better and best Airbnbs. That way, if you're a host that's interested in getting an Airbnb, you know what you need to be doing so you don't suck. Easy enough.
And then also the second part of this, we're going to jump into our Hostcon takeaways, who we met, what they talked about, some of the lessons learned, and some of the people that were there, and some of the best experiences we had.
Yeah. Hostcon was awesome, man.
Yeah.
Robuilt on YouTube, he put together just an awesome event. It was super well done. I think there was like 400 people, like just a massive turnout. And we had a booth there for Calvert Beach Mortgage, which we are both mortgage brokers and just a ton of people that made it out. Now we are still giving away a $1,000 appraisal, which is going to be, Drew will talk about that.
So that's going to be announced Monday the 16th. So just make sure, if you guys don't already, subscribe to me on Instagram, because I'm going to announce that on my story at Drew Do Loans. So to go back to your point, Scott, I couldn't believe the turnout and how Rob was able to make an adjustment once he figured out he oversold the event. But it was perfect. There wasn't a lot of dead time in between speakers and events.
Wasn't a lot. There was like no dead time. It was like, I think I slept like a total of 12 hours over 3 days.
Yeah.
Even now, it's been like 48 hours since I've been home and I feel like hungover. And I didn't even drink. So what does that say? I was definitely going hard, and I think everyone else there was too. So it was an awesome event.
Yeah, absolutely. The only thing that wasn't good about it was the fact that Houston had all the flights delayed coming out of the airport due to the FAA having a glitch.
Oh yeah, just a massive. I think weren't all the flights grounded like that day? I don't even know, man.
I think it was nationwide.
Nationwide, just happened to be the day that we were traveling back. But yeah, definitely some good takeaways that we got from that. The speakers were incredible. First of all, Kai Andrew, the land hacker, a lot of takeaways from there. Amy Majori talking about how to get private money.
And I think what's so powerful about our lending-based business that we do now is we can actually partner with some of these leaders and thought leaders in the space. I have people all the time asking me for 5 and 10% DSCR loans. Well, all we got to do, if they don't have the 20% that's required, is hook them up with somebody like Amy. She's great. She put on an awesome performance and taught everybody things that are really, really easy to implement. I think one of them was called the 4-second action rule, but she just put a big QR code up on the screen, says take a shot of this, save that template that comes out, and send it to the last 5 people in your phone. And I think that's
it was ballsy, man. She was having people just having people text them on the spot. Hey, scan this QR code. This is your script. Text us the last 5 people, and a lot of people were able to draw up some good interest on people with private money. So if money is like the number one thing that's like everybody's barrier to entry. We all need money, and there's money out there. I was talking to a friend of mine recently who's just an incredibly smart engineer. He was saying, you're killing it, and he makes great money. And I said, why don't you get into Airbnb? And he says, well, I just don't have the money for it. And like, I don't even think like that. You have equity in your house, you have 0 interest credit cards, you have private money, you have IRAs, you have just investment accounts. So private money, Amy Majori, she absolutely crushed it. Let's get into bad, better, and best.
Okay.
All right, so bad, better, and best. If you guys don't know what bad, better, and best is, this is where we look at 3 Airbnbs anywhere nationwide. We pick a bad one, a better one, and a best Airbnb. And we give tips, give our thoughts, and hopefully it provides a lot of value. Hopefully you're not a bad Airbnb that we're reviewing today. Let's check it out. So
we got Ashley's listing right in front of us. I think the interior looks great. That's probably where I would have started the photos and just got rid of the everyday run-of-the-mill duplex photo with, looks like it just got done with a snow melt away in Des Moines, Iowa. Just does not look good. It's not a twilight photo. There's dead twigs covering up the house. The siding and brick look pretty good, but it's just not the best lighting for that photo. That's got to be back of the bus there. I
already hate this listing. I hate this listing from the very top down. So I'm not trying to be a jerk or anything, but Ashley, this sucks. So your title, which is SEO, Search Engine Optimization, 114 newly renovated home. What the hell does 114 mean to literally anybody that's over here searching for a place to stay in Des Moines? Not a damn thing. Waste. Also, something that, and I even saw people at Hostcon doing this and talking about it. This is a new listing, guys. So new, Airbnb automatically is going to push you to the top of the rankings. So the mistake that a lot of rookie hosts make is they say, oh, well, I got I listed my property with iPhone photos and it did really well, so I'm just gonna keep running with it. Yeah, dummy, it did really well because Airbnb put you #1. However, if you're not capitalizing on that engagement, if you're not getting the bookings, if you're not getting the inquiries, if you're not getting the favorites, once that trial period is up, because Airbnb wants you to think, oh, this is gonna do great, so that way you continue wanting to use their platform, you're automatically on page 50. This listing is going to die. And this person actually probably thinks, oh, my Airbnb is doing really well. That's because you're on the new categories and you're not capitalizing on that correctly. Don't cheap out on the finish line. Don't just list your property just to list it. You're totally screwing yourself with being able to capitalize on that first boost and being able to retain that traffic.
Yeah, speaking of listing it just to list it, it just, I mean, even to Ashley's profile photo here, it looks like it's from the 70s. I'm sure in her eyes, kids are very cute, but that somewhat sets a precedent that like kids are running the listing. It's an old photo, just like the photo on the first photo is old and doesn't need to be there either. Scott, scroll down a little bit so I can take a look at this description, please. Or wherever that is. Okay,
it's right here.
So they have I'm sorry, I miscounted. 3 sentences for description. Your family will be close to everything when you stay at the centrally located home. 2-bedroom, newly renovated, well-appointed kitchen, ready for your family to enjoy. That means absolutely nothing to me. Every house on here is probably going to have somewhat of a similar experience that we already expect when we're traveling to an Airbnb. We need to talk about exactly what places they're close to, they need to bare minimum put the type of linens they're going to have there, or if it's what they actually renovated besides just the touch of it.
Yeah.
They need to get way more into the details, way more into the weeds. But I mean, I'm not surprised based on the first couple photos and their listing title. So look, guys, I've talked about this before. If you're not going to take your time to do this yourself, pay a copywriter to do it for you, right?
Or ChatGPT it.
Yeah, well, ChatGPT was down today whenever I looked last.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, I tried to use that. But, like, you can pay somebody in the Philippines to do this for $60 for probably all your listings. Just tell them exactly what you want. Tell them you want something eclectic, unique, that brings out all the highlights of that town or city or wherever you're at, that glamp site, to extrapolate all that data in a beautiful way so it looks and sounds very exciting to visit. This is the exact opposite of that. I do think the beds were made well. She should at least comment on that if she's not going to spend the money doing those things to create a unique feel.
There's nothing unique about this property. So this property sucks for a variety of reasons. Number 1, your title. Number 2, no description. Number 3, iPhone photos. Why? iPhone photos. You're not a photographer. Stop pretending like you are.
Let's check out the reviews if there are any.
There's none.
Okay.
No reviews on this property yet. And you know what? I'm going to do Ashley a favor. And once this podcast is uploaded, Ashley, you're going to watch this. Hopefully you've watched this far. I don't mean to hate on you. You can do better. All right, let's look at a better property. So, better property. No cleaning fee, 2 king, 2 queen, jacuzzi pool in St. Louis. A lot of reviews and a superhost. So this is definitely a better listing. So no cleaning fee is also something that I'm experimenting with on my properties. So the reason for that is, you know, with the AirbnBUST that we all talk about, everybody hates on cleaning fees. So here's the issue. By having no cleaning fee, all people are doing is jacking up their nightly rates to compensate for it. So if you're somebody who's traveling and you're booking more than like 5 days, now you're actually paying more. So, and a lot of people don't think of that. However, this listing is a better listing. Drew, why don't you take over and tell us why?
So I think what you're clicking on right now, how they created the landscape of the photo, they're kind of hiding behind some weeds or whatever. I'm not familiar what that kind of landscaping is, but I think it's great. But I just think the photos aren't shot at the right time. They need to be shot where you can see the pool light on. They need to be shot where you can see twilight in the
golden
background.
Hour.
The color of the landscaping is very, very good. They need to add fake fires somewhere. Just something that really says like, wow, this is my tiki hut back home yard that's welcoming their Airbnb guests coming in. And same thing here. It's the same photo twice, but I don't know why you really even need that photo. That would be great. Just add some color. add the wine, make it a little bit closer. So maybe only that photo, get rid of the other one.
So, but they're trying to make it look like the experience that you're going to have here. They're trying to tell the story of the experience you're going to have, and that's what you need to be doing. That's why I picked this for a better listing.
Go back.
You don't want to stay here.
For the last photo, this just caught my eyes. You can see all the weeds on the bottom of the fence there. Yeah, I mean, I just noticed that. But we're doing an in-depth dive. Maybe the future guest will do the same. They're like a 4.9 review. They've got almost 200, 300 reviews, so they're going to make money. This is obviously a money-generating property because it's been listed for so long.
Yeah, it's definitely what I would consider a better listing, but it's certainly not a best listing. It's a better listing, certainly a lot better than the first one. Let's check out their copy, title, you know, SEO. I like to look at the SEO. So yeah, there you go. A lot of copy, which is what you need for SEO, but better pictures, showing the experience, telling the story a little bit better through the photos.
One thing that I could tell here, if you go back to the copy, just to unpack that a little bit more, is it says right in the space, it looks like they go back, they actually care about their copy. They care about the space and all the other different categories they list here, and you could tell. The first sentence in the space, it says the pool is closed. So they're actually going back, updating this, which helps their algorithm as well too. And I know that because, actually I don't know what the Airbnb algorithm is, or I'd be on page 1 on all my listings. But
this is what I'm talking about, guys, with the Airbnb, with the AirbnBUST. You need to adapt. So this is an approach that I'm taking as well, that I'm experimenting with. I don't charge a cleaning fee. You're on vacation, relax, enjoy, rest easy. I take care of the cleaning and all the associated cleaning fees. So with a lot of people saying Airbnb sucks because I have to pay a cleaning fee, even though you have to pay a cleaning fee if you stay at a Ritz-Carlton. It's just baked into the nightly rate. Just the fact that it's an additional charge. It's something that a lot of hosts are currently experimenting with. Let's check out the best listing now. And the best listing, what do you think? Right out of the gate.
Treehouse, beautiful.
Experience.
Yeah.
It's an experience. This is not Airbnb anymore. This is your not your cookie cutter 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house. Airbnb has completely shifted to pushing experiences. The platform has shifted, not just people that are staying places, the platform is pushing these types of properties. So this is what you need to be looking for with your investing strategy.
Where's this one on the map, Scott?
This is
I already know the photos are going to be good.
This is Perryville, Missouri.
So scroll all the way down, you can see the map at the bottom. Back that out a little bit. In the middle of nowhere.
Kind of, yeah, in the middle of nowhere, and it's probably crushing.
Keep going. Oh, so just a little south of...
South of the Lou.
Yep.
Yeah, south of St. Louis. If you're looking for a little daytime adventure, we're located 15 to 35 minutes away from wine country. Cool. So let's check out the photos. Tree loft at base camp. So tree loft right away, that's something that people are going to be looking at. So they're really branding themselves. I'm sure that they have an off-platform booking as well that they're calling base camp. So an additional way to make revenue as a host, getting off-platform, save your guests some money, and also, you know, you can make money and save guests money by going off-platform. Yeah,
so what makes this place look really cool, the first few photos make it look like, to me, it's an... Oh, wow, that's just beautiful. But it makes it look like it's a container home on stilts.
And that is just wallpaper. Mm-hmm. That's all that is just wallpaper, but it totally gives you the right vibe for this area.
It's the really California background wallpaper. These are all oaks and maples. Definitely no sequoias back there, but...
Oh, you're an arborist. Looks really cool. Really well done. Some good money, thought, and cares have been putting into this property. And that's why it's a best, for sure. Easily a best. So let's look at the copy. Guaranteed copy's going to be just crush it. 2 guests, only 2 guests. Let's check out actually how booked out they are. November 2023. Look at this. Dude. It's January 2023 right now while we're filming this. This thing is like 99% booked for the year already at $315 a night. Dude, that's a killer. This is an absolute killer listing. This thing is just a cash cow.
Rare find. Let's read some of the reviews. So first one says
5-0.
Yeah, they haven't had anything else. They've had any bad review taken down, obviously.
This thing is crushing. A great little getaway.
This great little getaway to de-stress and decompass is a perfect place for some peace and quiet and to reconnect with yourself and or your partner. We absolutely loved it. Also, it may not be a big deal to most, but it was nice having the cleaning fee covered and the cleaning and not having a long list of cleaning to complete before leaving.
Just what we talked about before, guys.
So that's why Airbnb made that change, is because all the guests get on Twitter and complain about all the chores they have to do upon checkout.
Take out your neighbor's trash.
Yeah, so
things like that.
So what they're doing now is they're taking that feedback, listening to Airbnb, and then implementing that into their listing. Airbnb's algorithm might like that. And then on top of it, their listing's great, the photos are awesome, and their copy's great. So,
yep.
And they're, obviously if you're getting, each review looks like it's its own unique review. So they're obviously interacting with their guests very well.
Exactly. Like, look at how much, like, just in January. Today's January 13th. They already have 3 January reviews up. This property is absolutely crushing it. Like, look at all these December reviews. This thing is just super booked. And they're doing all the right things. I would love to talk to this host and just pick their brain on what their strategy is. Yeah, it says
one of these listings here that somebody actually brought them homemade Christmas cookies.
Oh my gosh.
But they niche down. So they always say riches are in the niches. So they could probably sleep more than 2 people. But they're only saying they need to sleep 2 people because of what it is. This is meant to be a romantic getaway from the big city. And it looks like its closest traveling city is probably Memphis or St. Louis. But, I mean, look at this place. I think the photos aren't top-notch, but they're not. They're actually pretty good.
They're not top. Like, this photo could be better. It looks like this was shot on an iPhone. Their photos aren't the best, but, like, obviously this is just absolutely crushing it. So that's a best Airbnb. So bad, better, and best. Just to quickly summarize, awful pictures, title is not great, and absolutely the worst thing this person is doing, Ashley, I'm sorry if you're still watching this, I hope you are, is you're not capitalizing on your property being listed #1 right now. So people aren't going to be clicking on this, and even if they are, it's not going to be as much as it would be if you had good photos and good copy. Better photos, they're showing the experience you're going to have right here. Airbnb is all about experiences now, that's what they're pushing. However, the things that they can do better is they can have a little bit better pictures. It's not like a wow factor. Best wow factor all day long. Obviously, this host is taking really good care of their guests, which you should be doing anyways, but it goes a long way clearly. So that's bad, better, and best, guys. Hope that provides you a little bit of value here. You want to take this one?
Yeah, so I actually missed this one in the very beginning of the podcast, but we were just going to chat really quickly about how I lost my favorite and key employee in the business. So when I first got into Airbnb, I was managing it from my home, but sitting in the office, like in between breaks and phone calls and client meetings, I would just have to dive in and message and talk to the cleaners, coordinate all of that stuff. So 3 years ago, I decided to reach out, hire somebody to help get me my time back so that way I could focus on my 9 to 5, which was still lending, but I wasn't self-employed yet. So I wanted to make sure I stayed in the good graces of the overlord, or your boss basically. And so that's what I did. Didn't know what I had. I probably saw it on somebody's video, a podcast, on the internet, somewhere. So I just hired a virtual assistant. Her name's Kim. She's in the Philippines, and she absolutely just crushed it.
She's the best employee in history.
She's a super host, and she owns
herself.
rentals.
She's a super host herself.
Yeah, so
in the Philippines.
In the Philippines.
Knows the market.
And so she just understands it from a host point of view. And I always told her how thankful I was, because I'm like, you put the motherly touch on my execution, with just, like, we just have a yin and a yang with how we wanted to operate. And so my business was able to blossom from there. And when I'd go back and I'd look at how I ran my business, I was only working 2 to 3 hours a week. So I used Kim and the value that she brought to scale to 7 listings now. So I gave her a raise along the way. So when I first started out paying her, it was only $400 a month. That's what she quoted me whenever I put the job listing out there. So I'm like, okay. And I would give her, monthly bonuses based on performance and KPIs, like, having very, very quick response time, staying above a 4.8, staying super host. I would bonus her for all those things. Then I increased her base salary the next year. And then the next year, she started taking other jobs. I didn't have in her contract to keep our relationship exclusive, which means she can't go out and get second, third jobs, which then at some point it started to saturate her ability to keep being an all-star. She was looking for more money. I didn't realize it until it was too late.
The problem, all it comes down to is you weren't paying enough.
Yeah,
she wouldn't be looking for that if you were paying more.
Yeah, exactly.
Which you were paying her what she asked for, unfortunately, and that's how you lost her, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's a marketplace, so it's like eBay. You just list something out there, and somebody says, "We'll do this," and that's my first hire, so I couldn't have been more lucky. But you got to try things if you want to get lucky. And now, when I go back out there, I mean, I know right now for a fact she's getting 5x to work for somebody else.
Rightfully so.
That's selling AdSense or teaching you how to sell Google Ads, and she is their life optimization virtual assistant, which means anything. He just talks into his phone, says, I need to book a trip, I need to order food, I need to set up meetings, I need to put these backlinks on this website. Kim handles it all. And I didn't realize what I had. I just thought that's what they all were because I got so lucky with my first hire. Now, the best thing about her is there's no animosity. I want her to do whatever is best for her. And so what I told her, I was like, hey, can you at least hang around? I'll give you a bonus. Help me hire somebody else. And they're finishing up training today. So whenever this drops, I'll probably be 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks into my new VA that Kim helped me train because I was willing to give her a bonus. But guys, if you got good help on your team, make sure you compensate them the right way.
Yeah, and Kim is just such a good person and so involved in your life that she'll probably watch this podcast. So, Kim, if you're watching this, Drew talks about you all the time.
Yeah, I can't say.
He loves you.
Yeah, so like coming from a place, I mean, Kim taught me some of the values and morals that I have in my business today. And it's a life of abundance. You know, once I was working with her, whenever she had her daughter Sky, and I just realized how important other parts of our life are besides just business. And she really helped me see that. And she literally comes from a mindset where she just wants to help and give. And I think that's worn off on me. So I can't thank Kim enough for that specific mindset change. And here's to a good year in 2023 for Kim.
So Hostcon takeaways. Again, the event that we went to, Robuilt, Hostcon, we were there for, I think 4 days. Yeah, 4 days total. So some of the takeaways that I took were from the speakers. So number one, Private Money, Amy Majori, a powerful speech. I'm not just saying that because, you know, be nice. Like, I really liked her speaking style. She had a lot of presence. She definitely comes off as a thought leader and somebody who really knows what she's talking about. But not only did she share her experience and her knowledge really well, it was incredibly thought-provoking, which I think is the best thing that you can do as a speaker. Rather than telling your story and get people to know more about you, it was like, okay, cool, I could take this and what can I do with this? And she gave some really good actionable items that you can do. But again, Private Money, guys, is everywhere. What she said is she's talking about people that are sitting around with their money collecting dust. That could be your grandparents, that could be your friends' grandparents, that could be a business owner that you know, that could just be your parents, anyone that you know, even a friend. That you want to, if you want to start getting involved in real estate, if you partner up with the right people, if you have the right knowledge and strategy behind you, you are doing these people a favor by having their money make more money. I talked to somebody today, a little bit of consulting that I did this morning actually, about they need $20,000 to launch an Airbnb. And they were talking about their grandparents and how they want X, Y, and Z, and how he's nervous to ask. And his grandfather is a multi-10 millionaire plus. 20 grand is nothing to him. But he's gonna offer this man a 20% return in a year. That's good money. That's great money. I told him, dude, you're making his 20 into 24. You're doing him a favor. You shouldn't be cocky about it or anything like that, but just understand in business, this is what you're offering to do here. So don't be afraid to ask people for money if you have a good strategy. As long as you put the thought into it, you can make it happen. Another person that I really liked looking into was Kai Andrew, investing in out of the box. And that's something that we just saw with that treehouse property. You want to talk a little bit about Kai?
Yeah, so my favorite thing about Kai is just his willingness and his ability to bring business-minded thought processes into real estate. And whenever you combine a unique flavor to that, it is just set up for massive growth. Yeah. And that's exactly what he does. I think he talks, you know, a lot of people are just dreamers, but I think if you are part of his philosophy, you can actually execute that on that pretty well. And then, you know, one thing I've learned is like you can utilize a lot of these stock creators together to build your own brand, your own super business revolving around these type of unique stays in the Airbnb short-term vacation world. And, you know, Sahil was one of the other speakers that the reason I loved chatting with him, man, is you know, I didn't see him come across on any of Rob's like pre-email lists or anything like that, but he just walked up to the booth as just somebody, you know, grazing the field. I thought he was somebody there just to kind of take it all in, but then I saw his tag, you know, it said speaker. But that was after you already told me his story, and so he shared a little bit about that, and I'm like, dude, you should really share this story. And he's like, I actually am.
Yeah.
And the next day, he ended up getting up there and talking about it. But talk about inspiration coming from a guy that moved literally across the country, went into an environment that he was completely uncomfortable with, worked at Chipotle for a year, and then just latched on to a top-performing agent in like the Berkeley area, picked up and learned everything he could whenever the opportunity was given to him. And then he just talked about how he basically started making $100,000 a month in gross revenue because of what he learned post Chipotle working for working as a transaction.
Yeah, and like you said before, the riches are in the niches. For Sahil, he got into student housing really heavy. So he saw a demand of people wanting to live together in a community, not just luxury suites like what there's so many skyrises going up. We live in Arizona. Arizona State University has nothing but luxury apartment suites. There's not luxury housing experiences where friends can all live together in a community, and you know, people will pay per door still for that at quite a rate, and that's something that he has really niched down on and has executed really well. As far as Kai is concerned, what Drew was saying before, if you can find like-minded people that are interested in things like land hacking, just out-of-the-box experiences, shipping containers, Airstreams, the things that he does, you should definitely check out his YouTube, but also he has a mentoring group that he's involved in, and it was nothing but the people that we talked to that were in that group say nothing but good things about it. He's really involved in it, so you get direct access to an absolute expert with his group. And
guys, Rob has been the one that's been like the monster content creator, but the reason he is able to do all the cool things that he is because these people are his closest friends. And whenever you're friends with the people that are doing what Kai and Amy and Heather and Tony and Sarah and Sahil and Malachi and everybody that got up there to speak for Rob on Rob's behalf, he had to call those in. All those people are Rob's closest friends. So Rob just takes a combination of what they all do and turns it into his master business plan. And that's why he's so successful. Mm-hmm. But to break that down even further, you know, whenever me and Scott were having lunch one day, I didn't even know they were coming, but here comes the Robinsons. You know, Tony and Sarah Robinson came in, they had lunch right next to us, and they had their own spin on how they're using other people's money to grow their portfolio. And all they've done is document that all the way through from start to beginning. Yeah. And he's saying, you have an equity option or you have 100% debt. And that's what they've done. They basically burstered their way to equity positions in awesome appreciating areas to have a platform to teach others how to do it. So best of luck to Tony and Sarah whenever they have their event later this month.
Yeah, so I think that really the main takeaway that I have from Hostcon is just get involved with people that want the same thing as you. If you're sitting around telling I just bought a jet to put on Airbnb. If I talk to my normal friend group about that, they think I'm a psychopath. But I talk to everybody at Hostcon about it because it kind of gets your attention. Hey, I just got a jet for Airbnb. They want to learn more, right? It's a good icebreaker. Everybody loved it. Everybody was talking strategy with me. And everybody was like, where are you going to put it? Cool. What is that county like? What are their ordinances like? Things that I'm not thinking right off the bat. So we can all help each other. There's more than enough business to go around, guys. You need to get involved. Put yourself out of your comfort zone. Go to meetups. Join groups. Don't be afraid to pay for your education. That's for sure. Don't be afraid to pay for your education. Another cool thing that I learned about was Fetch It, which is basically... Fetch It is a website. You can go to fetchit.ai, which is our friend Yanni's business and website. Long story short, when you're looking at buying and comping out a property, a lot of times you're looking on Zillow to see how much it is, and then you're putting that information into AirDNA to see how much it could rent out for. So you're spending a lot of time copying and pasting. What he did is he merged those two platforms together, and he calls it fetchit.ai. So basically you can see active listings that are for sale on the MLS, along with their short-term rental income all at once. So that way you can just, rather than having to just look, you can look for what you're looking for, what are the opportunities that you're looking for, and then you can start moving in on further diving into that property. It saves you a lot of time. I thought that was really cool. And I think it's a platform that's gonna blow up.
And there's another leg to that business, right? So you're probably thinking, how is that even different from AirDNA? Well, the one thing that it does is it really peels back the onion on what the ordinances and variances it is to have that type of business in that county, city, or town. Yeah. So it gives you a little bit more data than just one of those. Like AirDNA has, like, if you click on a market, it'll say A, B, C, D, whatever, how that market functions. And it'll give you kind of a sliding scale of what the resource or what the county friendliness is to actually owning one there. But it doesn't give you the actual details. You got to go find it. Jonathan's product and business will actually do that a little bit more. And, you know, we've listed all the people that provided great value. I found a really, really good friend, and it just so happened to be one of our roommates in the Airbnb that we stayed in.
Yeah, just crazy.
Alberto, man, he's got, it's called College Disruptors, and it's a business model. I mean, he is the most humble guy ever. And I thought he had just like a couple of virtual assistants talking about how he's helping 40, 50, you know, 30, 40, and 50-year-olds take that next turn in life to change their career path. And talk about a very hard decision for people that have already lived most of their working life doing something that they probably hate. And so then they got to figure out, they got to go back to school. That's very uncomfortable for them. So what he's done is enable them to give them the career path or go back to school and do it in a way that they want to do it. They don't have to take the hard calculus class to get a nursing degree or whatever that is. I'm just making an analogy. He's figured out a way to coach them through it. You guys got to check it out. College Disruptors. And sorry, Albert, if I got that wrong, but you guys got to take that out.
It's the Great Hacker. He is the Great Hacker, so greathacker.com. But I think with Fetch It, it's going to be really interesting just for the Airbnb space specifically, because he's talking about having a way for you to get connected with mentors. So it's going to be eventually this one-stop shop platform. I think that the sky's the limit for that. Like it's really interesting. And basically to wrap up the podcast, guys, we talked to a lot of people out of that event with 400. I would say probably a third of them haven't started yet. They're interested in it, but there was a lot, the common theme that I found for people that haven't started is analysis paralysis. Just start. You need to start. Analysis paralysis will kill you. It will kill you.
Yeah, and the easiest way to do that is a model that I talk, I mean, it's probably every third or every other Instagram reel that I do. It's about house hacking. Yeah. If you wanted to get into real estate and you want to do it on training wheels, that's the route you go. You can't lose ever by doing that. Yeah. Doesn't matter what town, city, or county. There's not going to be any regulation on that. If you can get a roommate, house hack, then you're going to be able to get into real estate in a very easy and manageable way.
Real estate on training wheels. I like that. House hacking. Guys, thanks for watching again. I'm Scott, Flips to Freedom on social media.
And I'm Drew, Do Loans, and you can find me on Instagram and also YouTube and TikTok.
And Facebook.
Facebook as well.
And OnlyFans. Yeah, well, actually, that's just me. All right, guys, thanks for watching.
Thanks for tuning in.